Hey, the Circle of Hope pastors are here. Julie, Rachel, Johnny. We're gathered to answer questions that people ask us and hopefully offer a helpful response. The question today is, in my experience, a commonly asked one. What happens when I don't feel God during worship?
My cell was talking about this last night, and I think it's comforting to know and to remind each other that God is not confined to our emotions or defined by our emotions or our responses to things. So whether or not we're feeling it, whether or not we think everyone else is feeling something that we're not feeling, is not, you know, there's not something wrong with me if that's the case. But it is worth asking because we actually want to connect with God. We want to have an experience that transforms us.
Yes, I think that's well said. And I like to think of the image of us and God being the mountain in worship and meditation, and our feelings and perceptions and experiences kind of being like the weather around the mountain that's always changing. I just agree with what you're saying, Julie, about even hormones, history. There's lots of things that can change our perceptions and experiences in the moment. And it's very common, I think, not to have a consistent experience or to feel that lack of something like ecstatic or transcendent, because
Yeah,
I think
right.
it's so hyped up in this culture to like this pharma crazy culture to like feel something huge and epic all the time. And I don't think that's how real human nature works. So I like to think of our life kind of in Christ as Eugene Peterson says it, a long obedience in the same direction. I think it's more like that. We're playing a long game with
Yeah,
Jesus
that's
here
right.
and just trying to show up and be as present as we can.
Yeah, I think that long game is really good. The backdrop of your life might be silence if you want to experience God and worship. It's really hard to do it if it's if you think of your spiritual life as contained in a worship meeting, like a Sunday meeting, and you show up, you're supposed to sing a song for some reason, and then experience God, and that's how it works. That's too confining in terms of, and too demanding, quite frankly, of an ecstatic experience to happen. Um, when your life might extend beyond that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that's a problem with like American style Christianity, that we have these kind of like the worship meeting is a little product we're supposed to consume to have Jesus with us that week or something?
Yeah, I think it sets us up for disappointment unnecessarily.
Yeah, we there is something to like the discipline, the practice of trying to make that space that you're talking about, Johnny, and connect with God in different ways. That we do have to keep at it. And if we expect it to all happen in a Sunday meeting, we probably will be disappointed, you know.
And you personally experienced that, right, Johnny?
Yeah, it's really hard for me to connect emotionally during worship. I was just telling we debrief the Sunday meeting every week, so we think about how we could improve it, how it went, and affirm each other too. And I said, if the song makes sense in my head, I can connect with God. But I'm often so stuck in my head, it's hard to have an emotional experience. And that's how it's been for my whole life. But I do it as a discipline. I do it because um, it helps ground me. It helps center me. It helps keep me regularly with God. Right. This is a thing that I'm doing, even if I don't feel it. My friend Jeremy used to say, "Just fake it till you make it." Right. And so I do it, and that's okay. That discipline helps me. I will say my experience is in worshiping and feeling God is made easier. Pay attention, worship leaders, when they tell me how to use the song. They tell me how to worship, how to use it, what's their personal experience with the song. Their personal experience helps me unlock things inside of me to use the song too. So again, it's not do-it-yourself worship time where we're just going to do a medley of songs, never going to talk to you, and then hopefully you figure out how to find God in this, right? That being led to worship is a good way to feel. And so for people that are uncomfortable in their lack of connection with the music or the prayer or whatever we're doing in worship, let's keep leading them to try to use the song, because it's really hard to do it. It's really hard to worship the way we're talking about, right?
Yeah, that's a good point. And I think we can all agree that God is present whether we feel God or not. And that's where the faith piece comes in. And I think that's what we're really working on together when we meet, is faith.
That's right.
And even a reordering in our own like hearts and minds. Worship does kind of get us out of ourselves, whether it's your head or your emotions, if you're just tied to needing to feel something all the time, whatever it is. Worship draws us out of ourselves, and kind of reorders us to be in this relationship with God. So it's a lifelong journey to keep worshiping.
Reordering ourselves. Thank you, Julie. So I hope this was helpful to you. Let's keep doing it together. I hope you find some silence where you can listen for God. And give it a shot this Sunday. See what happens. See if God doesn't show up in a way that you didn't expect. Lower the expectation on yourself, and receive the freedom you have in Jesus. Until next time, thanks a lot for doing this. Peace.